Welcome back, everybody, to The Dragon's Liar. My name is Wade, and this is my show, What I Watch, where I talk about the movies that I watch, why I like them, and what's going on with that. The movie that we are talking about today is this movie called Tremors. This is the movie poster for Tremors, and what I think is funny is the monster depicted on the movie poster does not look like the monster in the movie. That's Hollywood for you, right? Tremors is this fun comedy horror monster movie. It came out in January 19th of 1990. So I was 7. Runtime of an hour and 36 minutes. Not bad. It's rated PG-13. Has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 88 if you care about that. An audience score of 75, which I think is not warranted. And over time, because 1990, it's like 36 years old. Over time, it's grossed $16 million, and it's actually more than that, but I just rounded it up. Actually, rounded it down in this case. It's almost 17 million. Anyways, so the principal actors here are Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward, and Finn Carter. And fun thing that I learned doing the study for this video is Finn Carter was not Andrea in The Walking Dead, and she is not Andrea in The Walking Dead, and a lot of people think she is or was. so, um, when I looked for pictures of Finn Carter, I got a lot of pictures of Andrea from The Walking Dead. um, there is an honorable mention. I want to give two honorable mentions to the actors. Reba McEntire, who, if you don't know, is a country artist, and Michael Grass. You've probably seen this guy all over the place and just didn't know it. But they play a couple. They're fun characters. It's Heather and now I can't think of the character's name. Anyways, they play a couple, and they're the conservative doomsday preppers. So they're the Second Amendment enthusiasts, and that actually is one of my favorite parts about this movie and about their characters. So they get an honorable mention. um, it was directed by Ron Underwood, and the story is by S.S. Wilson, who I don't know much about S.S. Wilson as a person. um, so here are the warnings. I always give the warnings. If you're a parent, I'm a parent. If you care about these things, there is some swearing in the movie, a few f bombs, and some other words. What is kind of fun is the characters. So Kevin Bacon's character and Fred Ward's character, they're cowboys, but they also understand that there's a certain level of appropriateness in front of a lady, and so they don't like swearing in front of her. So when they catch themselves swearing in front of her, they correct each other and correct themselves by saying, "Pardon my French." And then she picks up on doing it as the movie goes on. Anyways, I don't condone swearing, but that's what happens. Um, there is a little bit of smoking, a little bit of drinking because they're cowboys and they do that kind of stuff. They're rough and tumble handymen. There is a little bit of violence because this is a monster movie, so monsters do eat people, and people do fight monsters. I think Kevin Bacon puts a pickaxe in one of the monsters once, and there's some gunplay if that is a thing that you don't want to watch or don't want to be around. I do want to give you a warning. There is a lady in her undergarments for just a moment because she gets attacked by a monster, and as she's running away, she gets wrapped up in some barbed wire, and then Kevin Bacon helps her. So Rhonda is Finn Carter's character. And anyways, she gets wrapped up in some barbed wire, and in trying to save her life, she has to take off her pants, and then they run away from a monster. I feel like it is handled tastefully and is not like a sexy scene to be a sexy scene. I feel like it's practical, and but if you want to avoid that, showing your kids that, then go right ahead, avoid that because I respect you as parents choosing what you want to expose your kids to. The synopsis that I wrote was Handyman, Vale, and Earl discover the reason why people in their isolated desert community have started disappearing. Together, with a young grad student named Rhonda, can they confront the source of these tremors? Bum 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 bum. The movie's 36 years old, so I don't feel like spoiling the fact that it's a monster movie and there are monsters in it is a big deal. um, Why I love this film. Okay, so there's a bunch of reasons why I love this film. One of the reasons why I love this film, and I watch it once or twice a year, is when I was a kid, my sister, who is 14 years older than me, who, if you're watching this, I'm talking about you on YouTube, um, rented this movie. And it happened only like twice. Only like twice. But we would go over to her apartment because, she moved out of the house, and that was a big deal because she was out on her own and she was tough and capable and could do that. And then she would have her two younger brothers over. I'm the baby in my family. And then we'd have pizza and we'd stay up all night watching movies. And, you know, I was a kid. So, Tremors was a little scary, but my big sister was there, so that was cool. And yeah, they did swear, but, you're not supposed to swear. And don't tell mom and dad I let you watch this movie. So it was kind of like a bonding thing. My sister was, letting us stay up late at night watching scary movies where people fought monsters and monsters ate people. But, it was PG-13 and I was probably 13. Maybe I was 10, but point is I could handle it. It wasn't too much. She wasn't making a bad choice. But it was this staying up late at my sister's house, eating pizza all night, watching scary movies. So it was this cool bonding thing. And like I said, I think it only happened like twice ever. But it's a good memory. So Raquel, I remember doing that with you. It's also fun because it's a simple monster movie. I mean, it doesn't there's no big moral ethical dilemma. It's innocent people live in this community in the desert and they're isolated for reasons and monsters are trying to kill them and we got to save everybody. Everybody. Doesn't matter. Um that's fun. It's clever, it's practical. So you have like real people who are in real situations, reasoning their way out. So like the grad student Rhonda, played by Finn, she uses her smarts and her clever because she's a college student. And then Earl and Val, played by Fred and Kevin Bacon, they're very like salt of the earth, rough and tumble handymen, but they're also smart because they build things and they take things apart and they fix things. And so there's very much like a everybody can contribute, everybody's good at stuff. The two characters who are the doomsday preppers, you know, people in the movie spend a lot of time criticizing them for their lifestyle of living in isolation with all your own water and years worth of food and water filtration, air filtration, bomb shelter, Geiger counter. But then when the monsters attack, they have guns and they can fight the monsters. And they're very respectable characters, the Doomsday Preppers. They're very respectable characters, they're very honest characters. They help, they're a part of the community. You know, it's cool. Like nobody in the community is a bad person. There's like a 16-year-old kid who's just obnoxious, but he's like a kid, right? He's not evil. No one in the movie is evil. So that's also cool. The Doomsday Preppers is actually my favorite bit of the movie because the monsters are underground and the monsters come into their basement, which is like their recreation area, and it's just beautiful. I don't want to spoil it for you. I know it's a 36-year-old movie, but that monster broke into the wrong gosh darn rec room. Anyways, so altogether, Tremors is a pretty harmless comedy, horror, action movie. There are funny bits in it. Like I said, PG-13 for the 90s. You gotta remember, there's a weird parabola of movie ratings in the 90s. Lethal Weapon 1 was rough. Um, but anyways, so you've got those warnings. You've got those things to consider. I think it's fun. I watch it once or twice a year. It's got a good memory of my childhood with doing something with my sister, and in the grand scheme of things, the swearing ain't that bad. The drinking and smoking's not that bad. It's it's just a fun movie in my opinion. That's why I love it. Anyways, um, we here at the Dragon's Lair want to say thank you for spending your time with us at the Dragon's Lair.